Hi everyone, this is Megan from SugarMillPress.com, and I wanted to come to you today and show you how to make these charms. I don't know if you can see that. They're ones that you can make that are specifically geared towards your projects and the stamps that you're using in your projects. And they're really durable and they last a long time. And let me show you what materials you'll need. You'll need shrink film. Now this is manufactured shrink film that I purchased from Dick Blick. But you can use recycled number 6 plastic. It comes a lot of times from the salad containers and stuff that produce is packaged in. A lot of fast food restaurants use the plastic. And it's just number 6 plastic. So it works the same. It's the exact same stuff. So you'll also need a stamp. And I'm using this one. And you want really a bigger stamp because shrink film shrinks by at least 1/3. So you need something to punch a hole. And this is the We Remember Keepers Crop-A-Dile. You need some sandpaper, sanding block. You need some sort of tweezers or pliers, some StazOn, some scissors, a skewer, some type of embossing ink pad. You want some UT, that I just have it in a plastic container. The ultra thick embossing powder. And if you want to put a background on, you need some other type of embossing powder. And this is Judykin's Peacock embossing powder. And of course you need your heat tool. So let me show you how it's done. You need to take your sanding block and just really rough up the surface of your plastic. Let me get rid of this sheet of paper. Hope you guys can see this. It's hard to see the plastic. And it really doesn't matter, you're going to get a lot of scrapes in it. When the plastic melts, you just won't see it. And just kind of get rid of the dust. Okay. I've got my stamp here. And however you stamp, go ahead and stamp your image on the side that you sandpapered. Really, the sandpaper, the only thing that it does for it is to allows the stamp to attach to the plastic. And I'm going to go ahead and stamp twice, just for the purposes of this video, because just in case I have any trouble with the melting process, I'll have an extra one. And one more time. I'm going to go ahead and stamp this, and I'll be right back. I'm going to let this dry, and I'll come right back. So, okay, I'm back. It has dried enough, and what I'm going to do is just take my scissors and just cut it off the sheet, make it easier. And then I'm going to trim around the stamp. And this is not an exact science. This material is very forgiving as it shrinks. What you do need to do is to give yourself a spot at the top to punch your hole. Kind of like a tab, or I probably should have left just a tiny bit more room here, but you get the point. Okay, here it is cut out, and take your Crop-A-Dile and make sure you use the larger hole if you're using a Crop-A-Dile, and go ahead and punch a hole in it. Make sure you do this now, because after it has after you've shrunk it, you're not going to get a hole in it. So once that's done, go ahead and shrink your plastic. Now, sometimes this plastic, when you're using a heating tool, likes to curl up and stick to itself. So here's hoping that this melts okay. And I just use the skewer to hold it down. It helps. And if your material doesn't lay down nice and flat, just take your acrylic block while it's hot. I'm going to wait till this cools a bit. They get really warm, so that's the shrunk piece. Now what you're going to need is your ultra thick embossing powder, your tweezers or pliers, and your Versamark. Actually, let's do the Judykins first. So I planned on putting a back color on this. This is really pretty embossing powder. You get that peacock kind of color in it. Take your Versamark and the back side of the charm, just lay down into the ink pad. And try not to get any on the front. If you can, avoid it. Go ahead and melt it down. You won't need your pliers for this part. Okay. The reason why you need your pliers for the ultra thick is I like, when I've coated the back with another color, I like to, because it becomes very coarse, I like to coat it with the ultra thick embossing powder. And if you lay the front side down and reheat it up, you're going to reheat your front layer. So let's do the back first. You take your covered back piece, and you can do this while it's warm, or just put it back into the watermark, Versamark stuff. And go ahead and make sure before you put on the tool to cover up your embossing powder. I kind of like putting 2 layers on this, so that's what I'm going to do. While it's still warm, okay, I'm going to let this cool a bit before I turn it over and do the other side. Okay, the back side has dried, and if you cannot see that, it is completely glossy and sparkly with the embossing powder. Just flip it over and get the front side down into the Versamark. Go ahead and coat it. And melt this. Again, while it's still hot, if you want another layer, go ahead and recoat. And it's a little kind of blotchy now. I'm going to still go ahead and put one more thin coat on top. Y'all that have used this thick embossing powder before know that it kind of pulls in areas. Okay, let's let this cool. Okay, it's completely cooled now. And what you're going to need to do, because you're going to get like little blotchies on the side here, just grab your sandpaper and just run your sandpaper over it. Or if you have a nail file. It just gets rid of the UT kind of hangers. And if your hole happened to refill back up, just take your screw and punch it through. That's why the bigger hole is definitely necessary. So, there we go. A completed charm. I hope that's in focus. It's really sparkly through the clear parts in the stamp, and then the black areas you're seeing the stamp. So, and there's the front. And here's the back. And it's perfect for the project I'm working on. So, I hope that helps somebody. Have a wonderful day, everyone. Bye-bye.